Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan. Hope you're doing well, friend. I really do hope that. Welcome back to, of course, Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel, where I reflect what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, of course, more importantly, asking for yours. Graham Potter has spoken, ladies and gentlemen, as the Chelsea manager. He's given us some insight, and we're going to talk about that today, what to expect from his Chelsea team. Very, very interesting indeed, dear sweet friends. Before we crack into it, please consider dropping a like on the video. It's a way to support me, your content creator, and it takes a millisecond. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, this video is brought to you by SPITCH. Ladies and gentlemen, football will return soon, and you want to play the best and most rewarding fantasy football, and that is SPITCH, because it rewards the thinking man by utilizing OptaStats. That's right, if you know about football, it recognizes it. An OptaStats-driven fantasy football. Finally, you can play for free, or you can wager some money. You don't have to commit to the whole season. You can just drop in and play a weekend when you want to. Check out SPITCH now, dude. Just click the link in the top of the description. Why not? Takes a second. Alright then. Let's get into it. So, Graham Potter spoke to the people, spoke to the common press conference journalist gang, and I must say he was very impressive. Look, man, the thing is with Potter, and a lot of people weren't overly excited with his first media interview, including myself to a degree, because he doesn't have that same sense of theatre that Thomas Tuchel has. Remember Thomas Tuchel, he's this big, sort of, relatively gregarious character, you know, this sort of imposing, big, funny, intelligent German man, and he was saying things like, we will build a team that no one wants to play against, and, you know, dramatic things like titles, straight away, that this is Chelsea, we've got to win titles. Whereas Graham Potter, he speaks almost like a therapist, like he's very methodical, he's calm, he's just chill, and ultimately, you might not be getting that Mourinho, Conte, Tuchel instantaneous gratification in terms of, you know, drama and theatre. But in terms of building a long-term footballing project, it's probably more appropriate. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And he was very sort of methodical the way he spoke. And, you know, he spoke about life, and he talked about how he sees football, how it's going to work. And we're going to go through a few things he said now. When commenting on joining Chelsea, Potter said this: you have to take a look at the football club, the tradition, size, and quality of the club to compete at the top level in the Premier League. It's a complete challenge to what I've been through at Brighton, where I had 3 fantastic years. Yeah, true, but at least he's recognizing you're challenging at the top of the Premier League. He will absolutely know what he's in for here. And there's an interesting thing that's really, he kept reiterating over and over, is his perception of the new owners. And some people are still unsure because they're upset about Tuchel, but I sort of really trust Graham Potter. He's one of those people that if I had a problem with, I'd want to talk to him. That's why I kind of sort of lean on this sort of therapist vibe. Like, he'll understand you, he will listen to you, and most importantly, he will communicate well with you. I'll remind you again, because everyone's talking about it, but it is genuinely interesting. Of course, he has a master's degree in leadership and emotional intelligence, like really important stuff for getting your message through and understanding people and not creating divides and rifts. And he was repeating himself when he said, look, I understand these owners, these people, they are successful people, they are good people, and I understand their ambition in football. And that's kind of what looks like convinced Graham Potter to join Chelsea. Of course, Tottenham also triggered his release clause prior to getting Conte. They wanted to bring in Graham Potter first, but like a good Chelsea man, he rejected Tottenham and waited for Chelsea. He was later asked in the press conference, would he have joined under the previous regime? To which he responded, look, I'm not going to comment on that. They did well. There was a different style, but, you know, what I can tell you is that I understand these people. I understand their, you know, their project, their desires, their success, their sort of ethos. And that's what took me and he didn't say this, but his very successful team to Chelsea. And when I say very successful, well-functioning team. A lot of his staffs worked for him for years and years that built that amazing side in Östersunds in terms of building a club from the ground up. Something else I want to talk about is he was asked about sporting director. Now, of course, the big story around Thomas Tuchel is he didn't want the power. You know, people like the aforementioned Mourinho and Conte, they kind of almost tried to get sacked at Chelsea because they wanted more control. They wanted wanted that like Arsene Wenger, Alex Ferguson overarching control of everything. They didn't get it in the previous regime at Chelsea, so they started throwing their toys out of the pram, eventually getting themselves sacked, which I think on both cases was desired effect. And Tuchel just wanted to be a coach, but apparently reports suggested that the new owners wanted him to be more than that. That's why I'm shocked to hear in this press conference that Graham Potter kind of just alluded to the same desires of Thomas Tuchel. He's like, look mate, I just want to be a coach on the pitch. That's my job. I don't want to be this guy to build and control an entire club. He referenced how in Östersunds in Sweden he was responsible for it, but over here he just wants to coach the players. It's interesting because he also referenced his like head of scouting or chief recruitment guy he brought with him, that he sees him often as his mouthpiece and will send him to like meetings with the ownership, which makes me think about these reports when Tuchel got sacked. He got in trouble for sending his assistant to meetings with Boehly, and it's almost like half the stuff that was the issue with Tuchel, or certainly the report suggested, Graham Potter's just come out and said, yeah, I want to do that as well. Interesting. As you can imagine, he was asked about the decision quite a lot to come to Chelsea. He says it was a whirlwind, loads of intense conversations, naturally with his immediate family, but with the club and his staff, because he's like, look, we're in this together, man. We are the Power Rangers. Are we going to go to Chelsea and do this together? And they had to make the decision really, really quickly. And like I said, Potter reiterated 2 or 3 times about how much the owners convinced him, but Tottenham couldn't. Just want to keep hammering that in. Well, the new owners are good people. They're successful people. They are intelligent people. Have I told you they're good people? I can't remember if it was Liam Twomey of The Athletic, but someone asked him about, now you're working with Chelsea and these like internationals and superstar players, how is that going to be different to, coaching in other teams, without saying not superstars? Which is a great question, to which he gave a great answer, and this is why I'm leaning on this therapist theme. He didn't talk about superstar or player ability or level or ego. He said, look, people are people. People are complicated. People have egos. People have desires and emotions and stuff like that. And it's up to me to deal with that. And that was great. He just broke down the fact how superstar or journeyman, he was like, look, these guys are the same. They, in terms of their like psychological and emotional makeup. And it's up to me to work with them. And the more I listen to him, he's not as, like I said at the top of the video, theatrical, performative, exciting, like I'd be if I was a football manager. But he's so calm and measured. He seems like the guy that's never going to get pissed off, that is going to, look, if you're not working out, he's not going to get angry. He's going to talk to you, and he's going to say, how can we get through this? And that, in a nutshell, I think is why Boehly and Clearlake have gone for him in terms of longevity, safety in development, knowing that when the times are hard, he's not going to like get emotional or angry. He's going to just talk to people because that's how he's learned. Remember, I've said on the channel before, he's had so many cultural experiences. Like, he was the technical director for the women's Ghanaian team, when he left university or when he was younger or something. But, he's got that master's degree. He's got 7 years in Sweden when he took them from like the 4th division right up to the top division. So, development is in his veins. And of course, at the beginning of the season in the Premier League, he's done very, very well. Another important question that was posed to new Chelsea manager Graham Potter was style of play, or just talking to the fans. What can you promise? He spilled a bunch of generic stuff about working very hard and dedicating He didn't say that Thomas Tuchel, trophies and no one will ever want to play against us, but he says, look, my application, my very best, and an identity. And this is kind of like what's been bugging many Chelsea fans for a long time. Now, Thomas Tuchel does have identifiable football when working, but we've lacked an identity for a while. And Graham Potter coming in hard saying identity, defend well, attack well, be able to do both, but with a clear identity. Chelsea have lacked a clear identity for a while. You can even go back to Sarri ball, Maurizio Sarri, who in theory as a philosophical manager should be potent identity, but we never really executed it as well as we should have, like his Napoli team. Graham Potter's coming out and saying, look, you want to look at that and be like, this is a Chelsea team. The same way you look at Manchester City and Liverpool, and they've got identities. City will strangle the life out of you with possession until the spaces finally open up. Liverpool are a bit more high octane and transitional and press the hell out of you and don't mind not having the ball as much. And there should be a balance in Graham Potter's Chelsea, because one thing's for sure with his Brighton side, it was riddled in identity. He was also asked about, flying the flag for the English coach and stuff, and I realised that only like 25% of my viewers are English or something like that, so it's great for me as an England fan, as, English football fan, that he's English, but I don't want to bog down most of you with that stuff. I do want to slightly go off on a tangent here and reference something that I heard on the Tifo Football podcast, which of course is a great podcast, and I would recommend it. They were speaking sort of comparatively to Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter. Now, what I've just said in the most of this video about his character and how he views people emotionally and psychologically probably gives him the edge over Thomas Tuchel, even though, Tuchel, more elite manager at the moment, whatever, fine, that's fine. But there are similarities in style of play as well. Both of them obviously often deploy a free back system. Both of them like to make movements within the game. Like, the Chelsea under Tuchel was really underrated with that, and they were talking about this on the Tifo Football podcast, and they were saying both of them are really spectacular at moving the ball through the lines. It's like they're really, really good at that with their shape and moving their shape, but they did share a difficulty in converting chances in the final third. Of course, we remember Graham Potter's Brighton a couple of years ago when they were a bit of a meme, losing the XG wars. But that does mean they were creating chances. Chelsea have had that as well. There's a few concerns about finishing chances and scoring goals still. He's not necessarily known for free scoring, high chance conversion, but at the end of the day, he's known for coaching well and just looking like a well-run team with great harmony. And a club like Chelsea Football Club that's riddled in history of disharmony and dysfunction, it does seem like just the ticket, doesn't it? So listening to Graham Potter speak in the press conference was really, reassuring for me. Like I said, there's no performative sense of theatre, but that's fine. We'll get the theatre from the football. Let the microscope go back on Arsenal, United and all those people and stuff, and let Graham Potter quietly get on with his business and do the coaching on the pitch. We're yet to see the players that he wants to coach, or, is he going to keep Mason Mount in? Is he going to go straight for Aubameyang? We've already done a video on this a couple of days ago, so go back and watch that if you're yet to watch it, the winners and losers video. But generally, I'm feeling pretty positive after that, and you should be too, so let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Please do consider dropping a like and subbing if you want to. You're all welcome, of course. And yeah, man, keep it locked because the content is coming. Alright, see you soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, bitch.